Zahi Hawass, the former head of Egypt's Supreme Council of Antiquities, has made a startling claim that archaeologists have been lying about the true origins of the Egyptian pyramids. In a recent interview, Hawass said that the pyramids were not built by slaves, as is commonly believed, but by highly skilled laborers who were paid for their work. He also said that the pyramids were not built using ramps and levers, but by a sophisticated system of water engineering. Hawass's claims have been met with skepticism by many archaeologists, but they have also sparked a renewed interest in the mystery of the pyramids. What if Hawass is right? What if we have been getting the story of the pyramids all wrong? Zahi Hawass is a famous archaeologist known for his important contributions to the study of ancient Egypt. He was even in charge of preserving historical remains in Egypt for a while. He's taken part in many projects where he dug up old Egyptian sites and fixed them up. One thing people talk about is his ideas about the pyramids, which caused arguments among experts and regular people too. Hawass thinks that some archaeologists haven't been honest about the pyramids and how they were built. He strongly believes that the ancient Egyptians built the pyramids themselves without any help from aliens or magic. He's not a fan of some other ideas from different researchers. For example, he doesn't agree with the theory that ramps were used to build the pyramids or that slaves did all the work. Instead, he says that skilled workers built the pyramids and were paid fairly for their hard work. Even though what he says can make people argue, Hawass's work has shown us new things about how the pyramids were made and why. His digging has found new proof about the people who actually built the pyramids and what the ancient Egyptians thought about religion. Even though not everyone agrees with his ideas, they've made people talk a lot about the pyramids and what they meant in ancient Egypt. Ever wondered about the captivating enigma of the pyramids? For centuries, archaeologists and historians have delved into the secrets of pyramid construction. What techniques did ancient Egyptians employ? How did these colossal structures come to life? The quest for answers continues, a journey through time exploring the mysteries of the pyramids. These pyramids were constructed in ancient Egypt's Old Kingdom around 2600 to 2500 BC during the 4th dynasty. They're some of the most incredible things people have built. The Great Pyramid and the Pyramid of Khafre are the biggest ones from ancient Egypt and were really important symbols back in the day. Putting these pyramids together required a lot of knowledge, talent, and a large workforce. Lots of ideas exist about how the pyramids were made, but most agree that they were built by moving giant stones from a quarry, pulling them along and putting them in place. But Zahi Hawass has said something different. He said that the people who built the Great Pyramid weren't slaves, but instead were paid Egyptian workers. This thought challenges what we usually think about how the pyramids were built and makes us wonder about the time they were made. When the pyramids were built, Egypt was a powerful and rich civilization. The pharaohs, who were like kings, wanted to show off their strength and wealth, so they built these pyramids. They also made them tombs for themselves and their partners, believing that the pyramids could help them in the afterlife. Making these pyramids shows how smart and skilled the ancient Egyptians were, and people all over the world are still fascinated by what they left behind. Zahi Hawass, the well-known Egyptian archaeologist, has caused a stir by saying unusual things about how the pyramids were built and the people who built them. He disagrees with other archaeologists, saying that the workers who made the Great Pyramid weren't slaves, but were actually paid workers from Egypt. Hawass has used old writings and carvings as proof for what he's saying. He talks about finding a paper that talks about the everyday lives of pyramid builders. He also points to carvings and tombs that show workers having fun and relaxing, playing games and drinking, which he says wouldn't make sense if they were slaves. But some experts don't agree with how Hawass is reading these writings and carvings. They think the evidence isn't enough to say for sure that the workers weren't slaves. Even though Hawass says these things, many people still think slaves built the pyramids. Some say he's only saying these things to get attention or to push his own ideas. Also, some remember that Hawass has had problems with the law before, like being accused of taking old Egyptian things. This could make people wonder if he's really trustworthy. In the end, experts and archaeologists are still talking about how the pyramids were made and who built them. Hawass's ideas led to a lot of back and forth discussions among experts who study ancient Egypt. Some agree with what Hawass is saying and see the evidence the same way he does, but there are others who aren't so sure and have their doubts. All of this debate over Hawass's claims is putting a spotlight on the ongoing discussions in the field of studying ancient Egypt. People generally agree that the pyramids were made to be tombs for important leaders like pharaohs, but there's still a big debate about how they were actually built and who did the building. Some experts say skilled workers and craftsmen did it, while others say slaves were used. This argument has been happening for many years and doesn't seem like it'll end anytime soon. It's not clear yet how much impact Hawass's ideas will have on the field of studying ancient Egypt. Some experts think it's good that he's questioning ideas that have been around for a long time, but there are also people who think he's making claims without having enough proof. Hawass's statements are making people more interested in the pyramids and how they were built, but they're also making people wonder how trustworthy the evidence really is and how we interpret it. Also, Hawass has had some legal problems, like being accused of taking old things from Egypt. This has made some people doubt if he's a reliable source. All in all, the fuss about Hawass's idea shows how debates and difficulties are a big part of studying ancient Egypt. Archaeologists have a super important role when it comes to studying the pyramids in Egypt, like the famous Great Pyramid of Giza. They're the ones who dig into the past to find out how these ancient buildings were made, what they meant to the people back then, and how they were connected to the culture. By doing this, they've revealed lots of cool things about how the ancient Egyptians lived and worked, as well as the amazing engineering skills needed to create such huge structures. Archaeologists have a bunch of ways of looking at the pyramids. They dig up stuff, measure things around the pyramids, and look at objects and carvings found there. They even use really smart tools like radar that can go into the ground and satellites that take pictures from high above. These things help them understand what's inside the pyramids and how they were put together. By mixing all of these methods, archaeologists build a clearer picture of the pyramids and the people behind them. Even though archaeologists have high-tech tools and smart methods, studying the pyramids isn't easy. There are still big debates about how the pyramids were actually built, and some parts of the pyramids can't be looked at closely because they need to be kept safe. But despite these problems, archaeologists keep finding new things and getting to know the pyramids better. They're like detectives from the past, working hard to uncover the secrets of these really old and amazing structures. The pyramids in Egypt are super important because they show how amazing the ancient Egyptians were at building stuff. These pyramids were made as big tombs for kings called pharaohs, and the most famous one is the Great Pyramid of Giza, which was built for a pharaoh named Khufu. These structures have been around for a really long time, more than 4,500 years. People all over the world find them really interesting, and they become a big symbol of Egyptian culture. The pyramids had a really big effect on Egyptian life and religion. They were believed to be the burial sites of the pharaohs, who the ancient Egyptians revered as special gods. People believed that the pharaoh's spirits would go through the pyramids to reach the afterlife with the hell of the gods. But these pyramids weren't just graves. They also showed how powerful the pharaohs were. Making them was a really big deal that needed thousands of workers. The pyramids were a sign of how much money and power the pharaohs had and how they could bring lots of people together to make something huge. Even now, people are still learning new things about the pyramids by doing archaeological research. Zahi Hawass, the famous archaeologist from Egypt we've been talking about, has been a big part of finding out new stuff about them. But not everyone agrees on everything. Some people say the pyramids weren't just tombs, but were made for something else. Even with these arguments, the pyramids still catch our attention and make us think. They remind us of how smart and creative the ancient Egyptians were, and they're like a lasting gift from them to us. Zahi Hawass is a really famous archaeologist and Egyptologist from Egypt who has done a lot of important stuff in the field of Egyptology. He's been in charge of keeping Egypt's old treasures safe and letting people know about them twice as the Minister of State of Antiquities Affairs. Hawass has been a part of many digging and findings throughout his career. He's found things like the tombs of the people who built the pyramids at Giza and the Valley of the Golden Mummies and Bahariya Oasis. His work has helped us learn more about how ancient Egyptians lived and what they believed. Hawass is a big deal when it comes to telling the world about Egypt's history and culture. He's talked a lot about getting things back that were stolen from Egypt, and he's worked really hard to make sure people everywhere know about Egypt's rich history. He's been in a bunch of documentaries and TV shows where he shares his knowledge with people all over the world. His work has made more people want to visit Egypt, and that's helped the country's financial situation. Hawass has done so much that his mark on Egyptology is really important. He's a leader in protecting and taking care of Egypt's old things, and his work has inspired younger people to become archaeologists and Egyptologists too. Even though some things he's done and said have caused arguments, we can't ignore the fact that he's added a lot to Egyptology. His work has helped us find out more about the secrets of ancient Egypt and has made us understand this amazing civilization a lot better. The study of ancient Egypt, as we know it as Egyptology, is facing both good things and challenges in today's world. Because technology keeps getting better, we have new ways to research and figure out stuff about the pyramids and other old buildings. But there's also a tough side. We need to make sure old sites stay safe and don't get harmed. Even though there are these problems, the future for Egyptology looks really bright, and there's so much more we can learn about this amazing ancient civilization. One super interesting thing in Egyptology is checking out the pyramids. These really old structures still amaze people all over the planet, and we still don't know everything about how they were made or what they were for. Some new research has made us question stuff we thought was true for a long time. Like before, many believed slaves built the pyramids, but a famous Egyptian archaeologist, that Zahi Hawass of course, said that people who built the Great Pyramids actually got paid for their work. And this changes how we look at things and gives us more chances to learn cool stuff about the pyramids. The pyramids are still super important today. They show us what ancient Egyptians could do and how great their civilization was. They also keep making people super amazed and curious, so a lot of folks come from different places to see them. As Egyptology and pyramid studies keep growing, we're probably going to find out even more stuff that we didn't know before. And this will help us understand the fascinating ancient civilization even better and know how it's still important today. In a recent interview, Zahi Hawass talked about the pyramids of Egypt, and what he said caused a lot of arguments. Some people have been upset with him before because they think he presents his ideas as facts, even if they're not proven. But he's still a big name in the field of studying ancient Egypt, and he has done digs that have helped us understand how the pyramids are built. Now he's saying other archaeologists aren't telling the truth about the pyramids and their mysteries. And he believes that the ancient Egyptians built the pyramids all by themselves and that there's nothing hidden or secret left to find. For a long time, people have really been interested in the pyramids and all their mysteries. Some think maybe aliens built them, or that there was really advanced technology involved. Others say that it was just clever ideas and hard work of the ancient Egyptians. But even with lots of digging and studying, there still are a lot of things that we don't know about the pyramids. And this makes them even more interesting, but it also makes people come up with all sorts of crazy ideas that aren't true. These ideas can make it harder for real experts to do their work and find out what's really going on. No matter the debates or arguments, the pyramids are really important in human history and culture. They show how amazing the ancient Egyptians were. They built these huge structures without any of our fancy tools of today. The pyramids also remind us of how special old civilizations were and why we need to take care of their things for the future. Even if we never completely figure out all the mysteries of the pyramids, we can be sure that the more we keep looking, the more we'll learn. In the end, what Zahi Hawass has been saying about the pyramids has caused a lot of talk in the world of ancient Egypt. He's done important things in this field, but some people aren't happy with him, saying that other experts aren't telling the truth. The discussions about the pyramids remind us that it's really important to keep learning and studying them. The pyramids are a big part of Egypt's history and culture, and they still have an impact on how we see the past and the present. And as we find out more, we'll get a better picture of the people who built these amazing structures and the time in which they lived. So, what's your view on all of this? I'm really curious to know. This brings us to the end of today's video, but let me know your thoughts on this. How do you view Zahi Hawass? Is he the greatest archaeologist of all when it comes to Egypt, or does he have an ulterior motive? Let us know what side of the ledger you find yourself on. Also, if you liked our video, we would appreciate it if you would like it, and please share it with your fellow friends and family and other explorers and archaeologists who may be in your inner circle. We also kindly ask that you please subscribe to our channel and press that bell icon. That'll allow you to always be notified when we have new uploads for you on our channel. We appreciate you spending time with us today, and we'll look forward to catching up with you next time. Have a great rest of your day, and thanks for watching.